What's up? It's Jared Cagle. This is a podcast called Burning Questions because we are answering your burning questions. All right, how's it going? Everybody feel good?
Sure.
6th episode of Burning Questions.
Is it really 6?
Yeah, number 6. We have some very special guests today. In no particular order, we will go around the table. Hannah Aycock, say hello.
Hello.
Chase Adams.
What's up?
First name Jeffrey.
Yes. Yeah.
I always love that.
Yeah.
Would you rather it be Jefferson?
No.
That's really official.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm good with that.
Brody
I'm good with
Millwood,
Jeffrey.
everybody.
What's going on?
Brody Joseph, 2
It
J's,
is, 2
and then my
J's.
name's Jared. That's another J.
It's a trio.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Brody picked the candle today.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about that. Do you want to light it? Or
I've
do you
actually
wanna
never
talk?
lit a candle before, actually.
Whoa! Big moment.
I've
Big
actually
moment.
never lit a candle before.
This is a big moment.
Big moment.
Can you talk while you do that? Because I want to hear
Yeah.
why you picked. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, another embarrassing moment. Never used a lighter before.
Whoa.
I always used the fancy ones that are like, like the football ones.
Church kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
church kid, yes. So I chose this one. So, you ever been to like a tree farm?
No, actually.
Never been to a tree farm?
No.
Yeah, neither
never.
have I. So, I'm assuming it's like an overwhelming smell. So, but
For sure.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like mahogany balsam's like, just like that one specific tree you want, not like an overwhelming smell.
Are we talking about like Christmas tree farms?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, like they seem like where the Griswolds go get their tree from, like that?
Totally.
Yeah, I feel like when they saw that tree, that was the smell they got.
Do you got, all right, while you're lighting that, because you're not.
Do I light all three or just one?
Yeah, all three would be great. Some nice even dispersion,
I'm not doing it right. I don't know how to use it.
I
can't use it.
Just keep going, just keep be persistent. Are you guys, while he's doing this,
You have to.
He's gonna burn himself.
I don't know how to do it.
so are you guys a real tree person or a
Yes.
fake tree person? Real tree. So you go to tree farms.
We did this year.
How'd you do that?
But we didn't get a tree there.
He's gonna burn
You got to
himself,
use the
Jared.
thing. Oh. No, I don't.
Are you a real tree or fake tree?
Well, I'm a real tree person, but my family always gets we have the same fake tree, so
Really?
I don't have a say in it.
So when you say you're a real tree person, that means you eventually one day will buy a real tree.
Yeah.
You haven't
We used
yet.
to have
You did?
real trees in our house, yeah, but then when we moved, we just got a really big fake tree.
Got you. And when you say you're a real tree person, Chase, that means that you like the camo.
Yes.
It's just like a natural.
Definitely real tree.
Yeah.
Not mossy oak. We don't go there.
Interesting. Anything else you want to say about that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the candle. I love the description.
Thank you.
Makes me feel warm and fuzzy, talking about real trees. Cool. So we have a question today that I think is awesome because we get this a lot in different forms and fashions. So hopefully this will feel more like a conversation. But I want to pose this question to the table, and then we can all start to talk about it. This was submitted by a student, and I'll just read it, and then we'll jump in together. So today's question: a lot of the people I've built relationships with at school are lost and don't know God. I'm struggling with finding a balance between being close friends with them so that I can share my faith and not being influenced by the decisions that they're making. How do I continue to be friends with these people and find that balance?
I'd say the biggest thing is like self-discipline, like knowing what's right and wrong and knowing when to spread your faith, because you don't want to be overbearing with it, because you don't want to give off like a bad vibe of what Christianity really is. I would just kind of say setting boundaries and everything. If you want to reach them, then yeah, you want to be close to them, but you also don't want to give into the same temptations that they're giving in. So it's just knowing what's right and wrong, and just having that self-discipline of knowing what's when to do what.
It's good.
Yeah. For me personally, it was to identify what specifically tempted me. So what sin I struggle with. And as I walked through this, it was hard because I lost a lot of friends. Because I had to completely back out. But now I'm starting to see the relationships come back.
That's
like
cool.
you said, boundaries are huge. Just knowing what you can and can't be around.
Yeah, going off of that is distance is a big thing for me. How close I am to like this specific person, like how much I let them into my life and how much I let them see of me, but also love and like a good way of seeing how you're supposed to interact with people is look at what Jesus did.
It's good.
And like you obviously use him as an example in everything that you do, and like the way to get to lost people is to be around lost people. The way to bring them into the church is to be with them and to love them like he did.
It's good. Distance. Do you feel like you've had to create more distance, or like is it more difficult to create more distance between the people, or is it more difficult to stay in close enough proximity to them?
I think it's a lot more difficult to stay farther away from them, for me at least. It's like when I'm a friend with someone, I'm not just a fake friend that'll rarely check up on you. Like I'm all in. So it's really hard for me to distance myself, but I know that I have to sometimes, and it's hard. But.
And you have to because of what it will drag you into?
Right.
Yeah. I'd love to get more specific about that, if anybody would be willing. Has there ever been like a time where you've had to avoid some specific behavior or certain circumstance?
Yeah, alcohol specifically. So I always know, like, going into a situation with certain people what they're going to be doing, just because I know them so well. Some we've been friends since we were little kids, and then some more recently. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to stay away from it for me as well. But now I'm finding it just as difficult to be close. But with the alcohol, I knew that I couldn't be around it. Even if I just had 2 beers, which to me is a sin, but because I drank them as fast as I could, it was still like that temptation was there, and I couldn't say no. So I had to, like I said earlier, lose friends for a short amount of time, and then now I'm slowly starting to gain them back because, my relationship with Christ has given me the strength to be in those situations and be there, like physically be there, emotionally be there for those people, but not participate in the sin. But it takes a lot of discipline that I couldn't muster up on my own. So I had to get my relationship right with God in order to be able to have that willpower and strength to just be there and not give in.
Is that what you mean by discipline?
Like knowing what, like the sin that tempts you most, like knowing you have to stay away from it, or not even getting near it or anything like that, like physically in a room. Yeah, that's like that's what I meant by self-discipline, was like that. But kind of like an example for me was like things people would say, like people, like cussing and everything like that. Because people think it's cool, yeah, and sometimes it makes things funnier, yeah. It does, but you shouldn't say it because you're representing not only your school, family, but you're also representing Christ when you do it. Like an example, like I was playing in a basketball game at school, and I had said something like under my breath, and someone up in the stands saw it, and then they confronted me about it, and that was kind of almost like an embarrassing moment, like not realizing I didn't even say it, but like under my breath, and people still notice it. And so it's just one of those conscious things, like realizing what you're doing, and then realizing the effect it has on people. And if as a senior, a leader in the school, the effect that has on the underclassmen watching. So it was like a humbling moment to realize, it not only affects me, but the image that people have of me, and then people think, oh, he's not a real Christian or anything, or Christianity is about not having good discipline, doing whatever you want. So it's just basically, all just about who you're representing and who you want to, show off. So
it's good.
Yeah. It's really good.
You did a great job with that answer.
I appreciate that.
You kind of left everybody speechless.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if it was bad or not.
That
No,
was
you
good.
did a good job. You did a bad job lighting the candle.
I did. Yeah, I didn't know. I used like the button one, you had before.
Oh, yeah.
Like the foot long one. Yeah,
Mhm.
I've never used that one. My hands are
The one
quick.
you strike, yeah.
I'm
That's
not, you know, like
we should have done a training session before.
you should have.
That's a leadership problem, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It's my fault that you weren't able to like that.
I mean, it's just I didn't know how. So that's on me. So.
So when thinking about this, because I think a lot of people ask this question, or a lot of people that I've heard ask this question are coming from a place of, hey, so I've just accepted Christ. I'm following him now. I've had this experience where I've been saved, but now I feel like I can't have any friends because all of my friends are doing this, that, and the other that you're saying is not healthy. So in those terms, thinking about it like fitting in, in school and in life, like what would you guys say to that? What would you say to the person who's like, I don't fit in anywhere anymore at school. I don't even fit in with my family, Like, speak to that person a little bit.
I don't. But your identity has to be in Christ. It can't be in other people's opinions or what they think. And that's a lot easier. It's easier for me to sit here and say that, but I do struggle with it on a daily basis because I'm dealing with everything that you just said on a daily basis. But the joy that I have now, even though I'm not accepted sometimes, it far outweighs any of the negative that comes with it.
It's good.
I don't know. It's just we're supposed to look different than the world. We're supposed to be in the world and participating, but we don't have to act like the world does.
Yeah, I 2 years ago when I was like struggling a lot and when I wasn't actually following Christ, I had a really big problem with cussing and just being like really vulgar, and I had a lot of friends that were like that. Obviously, like you attract what you are. So when I started following Jesus again, like hardcore, I completely cut that out of my life, like the cussing, and I made it like a conscious effort to stop. And my 3 closest friends did not like that at all. And like within a few hours, they all dropped me as their friend. Like they just cut me off. And they had been talking about it, like all 3 of them. They were talking about how they were all going to cut me off because of how different I was acting.
Wow.
So, it happens, but that's also God like pruning the bad people out of your life, and like he's showing you what his plan for your life looks like. And in that time I was very heartbroken because they were my closest, they were my people, but God had shown me like this isn't about you, it's about me. And like it kind of put me into perspective of if people don't accept me, it's not me, it's just they don't accept God. So I don't know, that's what I have to say.
It's strong.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, sometimes you need a reality check. Sometimes because like in a perfect world, everyone will pick up or drop whatever they're doing and follow Christ in a perfect world. But as we all know, we don't live in a perfect world. So sometimes you need that reality check. You need to distance yourself from those people. I mean, you can still influence them, but you have to do it from a distance, because if you get too close, then you're gonna fall right with them. And so it's one of the hardest things, like realizing going into high school. I always thought you always had to have the most friends, going into things, but I realized there's not really power in numbers. There's just power in the people that are with you. And so like there's a story in the Bible when Gideon, they had about, it was like 3,000, something like that going into it, and then by the end of it they only had like 200, because God said I can't lead you with all these people, and then you start cutting them down. And so one of the things I had to realize was a lot of my real friends, there's only a certain handful of real friends, and there's only certain fake friends. And so when you get real about your faith, you get real with other people. So that's when you see how you see the true and you see the real people, the other real person. And so once you get real, you start realizing that not everyone else is real. So
busting out Gideon on this.
Yeah. I actually heard that last night. It was pretty dope.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. He got him like panting, like God said, the ones that are drinking the water like dogs.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I just dropped down and was like,
yeah.
I'm breathing hard.
Take them.
Yeah.
They're your army. The ones that are acting like dogs are going to be your army.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have been like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you're out there, which I don't know if anybody knows Chase's story, but like frontline ranger in the army, boss, like he will take you down type of thing.
No, definitely
and
not.
He's not the guy that's drinking the water like a dog. He'd be back there like ready to go to war. So he's the one I'm trying to take. But God's like, no, I want the ones that are weak because my strength's going to be. Anyway.
Yeah, just to hit on both of y'all, what y'all said, I think there's this common misconception that being a Christian makes life easier. And that's so far from the truth. If Christ was beaten to where he was unrecognizable and hung on a cross, I don't get why we think that our life should be perfect. But anyways, I just had a thought. But this kind of hits on this passage right here, 1 John chapter 2. We'll start in verse 15. It says, "Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh and the desires of the eyes and pride in possessions, which possessions, friends, relationships, is not from the Father, but is from the world. And the world is passing away along with its desires, but whoever does the will of God abides forever." So just pride in possession. So I think when we like your friends dropped you and I experienced something similar, it hurts, right? Like it sucks. Mm-hmm. Sorry, that's probably a bad word to say, but it does. But that's really our pride inside of us. Like, well, why am I not good enough for them? Why is this, that, and the other? But everything that comes out of Scripture does not point towards, in my opinion, or that it's going to be easy, that we won't look different than the world like we should. So, but yeah.
How do we get to that place where, how did you get to that place where you clearly understood this is not about me anyway?
It took a little bit of time, like processing what had happened and why they did that to me. I had to think about what actually went down. Like, I read through those texts hundreds of times. And I had actually found, like, my mentor, my person, which is my aunt. She has a lot of wisdom in stuff like that. So I talked to her, and she talked me through it, and she helped me not focus on, like, my emotions. That's one thing, is, like, I logically thought, well, the reason why they did that was because I started acting better. And that's not bad. What I did wasn't wrong, and I'm doing it for God, so it's not me that they're denying. I had to think, like, I know that they still have love for me because they've known me all these years. There's no way they could just start hating me. And my aunt helped me see that it was like, it's not a you thing, it's about God. So
it's good. Mentor, relationship. Got to have people that have been there, that are a little bit further down the journey to speak into. Do you have that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've grown since high school. I've had Ben Hildebrandt as our group leader, and going through middle school, we never really had like a solid group leader. We were close with a lot of them, but I mean, by the time I was out of middle school, I probably had 7 or 8 group leaders. But when we got to high school, one of the first groups we had, Ben sat down, and it was like, whatever y'all need, like, I'm here. And and I don't know if y'all know Ben's, like, I know y'all know Ben's story, but he's gone through some stuff.
Yeah,
and he's been there, done that, and so he's one of the guys that that if I ever need something, I'll reach out to him. And now I got this dude right here, and got old Jeffrey over here. I can talk to whenever I need to. Jefferson.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things for me.
Yeah, that's great. I would rather have Jefferson than Jeffrey, but that's just me.
That's true. Like Jefferson, like, feels like he's got it going on.
Maybe we can change my name or something.
Yeah.
But
the one that he doesn't even go by.
Yeah. We'll call Katie and be like, hey, it's Jefferson now.
Yeah.
Katie could do something
She
about
calls
it.
me.
You know?
She calls me Jeffrey when I'm,
No way.
when I'm getting in trouble.
No way.
Yeah.
One example of when last time she called you Jeffrey.
Oh, last night.
What?
Yeah, I get in trouble every day.
What did you do?
I don't remember.
Really?
Probably, in my mind, nothing. But I can't. Now it's out there for the public, but I can't tell her that. So yeah,
Hope she doesn't watch or listen.
she will, and she'll say Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Oh, that's amazing.
I got to hit on what you said though. I got some thoughts on that. I think the reality of that, the beauty I see in that is the offense of the gospel. The gospel is life changing, so it changed your life. But the fact that it offended them just hits on that it is offensive in the sense that it does attack our fleshly, desires. And it sounds like you noticed that, and when you noticed that, you allowed Christ to work through you to change your actions or your words or whatever it may be, and it offended people. Really, they weren't offended by you. Like you said, they were against God. And the gospel was working through you without you saying a word, which is pretty awesome. Just the power of, the gospel itself. So I find that to be, pretty great.
And one thing about that, though, is that I really didn't have... I had a close circle, and there were 4 people. They were 3 of the 4. But there was one girl in it who's my best friend now. Like, we've known each other since kindergarten. So, like, when all of that went down, she was the first person I went to. And she was the only one, and I knew she wasn't super religious, super into God, but when I told her what had happened, she was like, you know what, like, I still love you. That's not anything to be ashamed of. Like, she really helped me with that, and later on she ended up, like, she started coming to church, because she said, in her testimony that she spoke about, she said that she saw how different I was, and it made her want to be better. And I was like, you know what? I could lose 3 more friends if that's what that takes.
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
I don't know, that it showed me a lot about, like, who your real friends are and what's meant to be in your circle.
That's good. Mm-hmm. It's really good.
Yeah, so one of the things, like, I already touched on it earlier, but, like, that your actions not only affect you, and that was, like, Inky Johnson. I always like referring to other people. And Inky Johnson, he said that, actions have consequences, and consequences not only affect you, but they affect everyone that's around you. And so that was one of the things, like, if you cause someone else to fall, that's one of, like, the biggest sins is you can commit, is causing someone else to fall. Not only yourself, but someone else falling out of their faith or committing a sin that they said that they weren't going to do. And, like, when it comes to self-discipline, it's also keeping others accountable with, like, yourself as well. And so, and as Christians, we have to be there for each other and not play the selfish game of, I'm going to work on my faith, which, yeah, you should, But if you're working on your faith, that also says that we have to help others with theirs. And so that was one of the biggest things to me, is that I'm not in this alone, and the fact that I have people helping me, but also I need to be there to help them too. So
It's two very mature answers. I don't know. That's good. I don't think anything else can be. I mean, y'all hit it on the head. So
Yeah. No, that's strong. I think the key, what I'm taking from both of you, so that getting back to the question, the balance between spending time with people and not doing the things of this world, but still being with people that are doing things of this world, right? That balance. And it comes down to, just listening to the way y'all are answering it, it's beautiful, but it comes down to a selfless desire to mirror Christ to the world, and knowing, like what you brought, knowing that that's going to bring tough times, difficulties, suffering, even like persecution if you're in some parts of the world. That's what comes with it, but knowing that it's not about you and the glory is to come anyway. We have to keep our minds on that, like the reward is to come. Because in the moment when you lose friends or when you lose whatever, it doesn't feel very rewarding at all. It's hard. It hurts.
Yeah.
It's difficult to walk through school and not have the same friends. But the reward that's to come is far greater than anything that we could earn here. But we have to remember that, right? We have to keep coming back to that, because otherwise it gets suffocating. And going back to the temptation thing, I think part of the discipline too, I love that word, you're talking about it. Part of it is disciplining yourself to not go at all into the places where your will is going to be tested. Because my will's weak. If I stay in the fire too long, I'm going to get burned. Or near the fire too long, I'm going to get burned. So, I love it. It's a good conversation. You got something else? Come on.
yeah, I just got a little one-liner.
Oh, yeah?
If you're made of butter, don't get next to the fire.
It's good.
It's gonna melt.
Mm-hmm.
It is. You can't rely on your will. We can't rely on our own will. That took me a long time I still haven't mastered it. I never will, but that's hard.
It is hard.
Yep.
But it's worth it to find the balance. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank y'all so much. It's been fun. Burning Questions, Part 6, in a new location. Not sure it's improved. I would have said new and improved. Not sure. But it's great. And we have a candle. And we needed more space for
spacious
all of us. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for being on the show.
Appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Burning Questions. If you have a burning question that you've been longing for an answer to, DM us on our Instagram at CMCstudents_.